Ready?
Yes.
Let's do this. What's up, people? Annabelle here, and you are watching Dreams to Reality podcast. Today, we got episode 39. We're here in the lovely city of Pasadena, California, and today we got a very special guest. Our guest is an entertainment news journalist and reporter. She's currently working with Meruelo Media, managing their radio stations, that being Cali 93.9, yes. Power 106, where hip hop lives. What up? And KDAY back in the day. Yep. She's also a reporter for Chicano Hollywood, and we're very pleased to have her here today. Please help me welcome the great Luisa Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Welcome, Luisa. Welcome.
Thank you.
How's your day been going today?
So far, so good.
Pretty hectic, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very long.
Yeah.
Very long.
You were an hour and 3 minutes late.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, we're starting off strong.
I'm kidding. I know, but so you work, I didn't know you work with all these radio stations.
Yes.
I thought you worked for one radio station, and I was like, okay. But now I know that you are a very busy lady. So
yes.
So you get a pass for being late.
Thank you. And LA traffic too, I mean.
It sucks. I'm late to everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't even know that Meruelo Media owned all these companies, because I actually used to work for another company. Not work for another company. One of my tenants, because I do commercial property management, they used to own Power 106. Was it recent that they got bought out by Meruelo Media?
I would say maybe in the last 10 years or so. I'm not sure the exact date, but
yeah,
it's relatively recently that they acquired all these other media radio stations.
Yeah, the radio world has been kind of going through a crazy transition in the last couple of years. For sure. I mean, well, I would say probably the last 20 years, because yes. First there was satellite radio when that first came out, and it was like a huge battle between terrestrial radio and satellite radio, and once Sirius and XM kind of merged and became this huge conglomerate, and they even tried to sue them for them being like a monopoly or something. They won that, and and then now it's like a whole nother ballpark with the social media and podcasting and YouTube and Patreon, yep. And you name it. So I know in the radio world there's been a lot of transitions of just the style and also the content and just the competition that they've been dealing with. Because the client that I had, I'm trying to remember their name. MS Radio was the name of the client, and I believe they owned like a bunch of different radio stations. Then every time I would go to them to do a renewal, and I've been working with them for the past 6 years, they're like, "Oh, we're downsizing a little bit." Like, "Oh, really? Okay, cool." Yeah. And then the next year, "Oh, we're downsizing a little bit more." The next year, downsizing. Like, damn, that's crazy. So now the radio stations that are successful and thriving, they must be doing something right, And I think a big part of that is what you do, which is you're their social media. What's your title? I don't want to just screw it up.
No worries. So I'm a digital content producer. And what that pretty much means is just, creating content. So we're in the studio with talent. And like you mentioned, yes, a big part of I would say radio's success in a way, or like a 360 success, is social media. It's being on trend, having multiple ways to kind of branch out, the media company. So it could be on air, the radio waves, but as well as social, video, YouTube, the interviews that go out. So it's just encompassing everything, trying to keep radio alive.
Yeah, I feel that if you're not growing with the times and evolving and changing, you're going to be left out. And for many years, I think people kind of try to fight that. But once you realize that, technology is here, the future is now, and you got to evolve with it, or else you're going to be out of business. That's when people start to realize, okay, cool, we got to take into consideration that maybe the podcast is a competitor. Maybe we should have our own form of podcasting. Maybe we should have our own YouTube, our own social media marketing agency. And now that's pretty much what you're doing with them, is you're allowing different avenues to market
Yes.
the radio station, you know,
Yes.
because I mean, I don't think I've listened to the radio in a while. It's probably been a while since I listened to the radio, but I listen to Spotify all the time. I listen to
Yes.
YouTube nonstop. It's like, I call it YouTube University, you know, like I go on there and I learn all kinds of different stuff. And I think the younger generation kind of is geared more that way. You know, their attention span is very short. It's tiny, you know, so they'll watch 15-second clips, but they probably won't even listen to the whole damn song.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think even when we, so before they were not in TikTok. And when I took over this position, I was like, no, we need to be on TikTok. That is where the audience is at. Yeah. It is the most growing algorithmic platform for any business or anybody really. So I do remember that we posted a couple videos, maybe like 5 or so, when we just started on TikTok, and people were saying like, oh, I didn't know that there was a reggaeton radio station, or I didn't know that. I don't know if you know Angelica Vale, so I work with her in the morning show.
Okay, she's an anchor, or not an anchor, a radio personality.
Yes, but she's also a Mexican like actress and superstar. She's
probably
amazing.
know who she is if I see her face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I work with her, and I remember when I was posting stuff about the morning show with her. Yeah. A lot of her fans were, you know, commenting, I didn't know that she was in radio. And that's how we got more listeners. Yeah. Based on our, you know, videos that we put out on social. So yeah, it's, for sure, it's necessary. There's no way that I think anything can continue without social media. Yeah,
it's exposure big time, you know, because especially in radio, you don't get to see the person that's talking, and sometimes just that alone, you're like, I'll go to another thing. But once you kind of connect with someone on a certain level, then you want to hear more of them, you know, what they do. But I really want to thank you, Luisa, today for coming on the show.
Yes,
I know you drove in traffic. It was like an hour or something. You're like, you sent me the screenshot. I was like, damn, that's a lot of traffic. So I was being facetious about you being late. I truly am appreciative of your time. I know for a busy lady like yourself, it's not easy, you know, to set aside some time. So I'm very grateful for you, and I'm actually really interested in getting to know more about you and hear your story. Yes. You know, because I became aware of you from Chicano Hollywood. Okay, cool. There was I think you were interviewing somebody. It must have been like an actor. I think it was at an event.
Yeah, no, of course. So that interview clip was actually Ozzy Aru, and he's the first Latino, you know, person to own their own television company. I think here in the U.S. It's called Aru Brothers, AREU, I believe, and they're in Atlanta. It's Aru Bros Studios, and so it was really cool. It was actually
that's amazing.
Yeah,
he's our Oprah.
Yeah. Okay. So he used to work with Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios. Yeah. And his story is actually pretty interesting because he started off as a janitor.
No way.
Security guard or a janitor, one of those two.
Like Tito from Tito's Top 404 at Power 106. He was their janitor, and then he became a...
Oh my gosh,
This is like in the 90s.
Yes, I heard that story 2000s. Before, yes.
Well, it was hilarious. I believe it or not, I used to listen a lot to Power 106 back when I was like a little kid.
Nice, okay.
And they had this hilarious... he was their janitor, but he was so funny that every once in a while... I think it was Big Boy. Yeah, Big Boy used to like call him on, like, come on the radio. And he would talk, and he had like this funny he's a little paisa, you know, so he had like a little accent. Yeah. And then they gave him his own little spot, and like it was called Tito's Top 404. So they would put the top 4 songs that he liked at 4:00, and I used to listen to it every day.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little hook. This is Tito. This is Tito. This is Tito. This is Tito. Tito's Top 404.
Is it kind of like Guillermo with Jimmy Kimmel?
Kind of, except he was way funnier.
Oh, I think he had so funny.
You know what? I don't really watch Kimball live that much. So
okay.
The little snippets that I've seen, I just connected more with the Yeah, I don't even know what happened to him, but I stopped a long time ago.
But his story is very similar like that, and it's super interesting. So I was very honored to get to interview him.
That's awesome. Sure. So it was at an event that there were... it's an award ceremony, or was it some kind of...
Yes, it was. I don't remember like what award ceremony exactly was, but he was being honored for like a visionary award.
That's awesome.
So that was very cool.
So for people that don't know, you know, what is Chicano Hollywood, and you know, how did you get connected with them?
So they are a online like streaming platform and media platform. Yeah. And it's pretty much for Latinos, you know, made for Latinos by Latinos. Everything that encompasses a Latino, like whether directors, producers, music, it encompasses everything. And it's just a platform to really support one another and to support Latinos in whatever they do in this industry, because there's not